Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So in today's episode we are modifying the S3. Yes, we are going to be fitting a new race chip to the S3, and with the theme of race chip in mind, RaceChip are actually sponsoring this video. So it's no secret that I have a passion for their products. I fitted their products into two of my vehicles. In my Audi TT, that was the first experience I had of it and was really impressed with the performance gains. And then in recent months we did the same to the Abarth. So I reached out to RaceChip and said, hey guys, would you be prepared to sponsor one of our videos? Perhaps, you know, send us a product or two. And RaceChip obliged and sent us two. Not only did they send us a race chip for the car, they also sent us their XLR product. So today's episode we're going to concentrate on just fitting the race chip and testing the results on that. And then in the next episode we'll do the XLR, just so we can have a split review of both products. Now, before we continue, a lot of you, the last time I fitted the race chip to the Abarth, mentioned, have I seen the dark side development video? Yes, I have seen the dark side development video, and it was a very informative video. They did extensive testing, but for me, the RaceChip product is still a good product, a great product that I'm happy to use because it produces the results that I want. Yes, it may not produce the results that it says on the paper because there are a number of variables. And with that in mind, how many of us go to the manufacturer when we buy a car, a brand new car, if we're fortunate to do so, take it to a rolling road and then say, hang about, this car's supposed to produce X amount and it doesn't, so therefore this product is falsely advertising, so you should bring that back. None of us will do that. We get in the car, we enjoy it, etc. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm not going to get hung up on the fact that my product doesn't deliver the full potential. Now that's going to be a debate in itself, and I can see the keyboard warriors already typing away their answers. And in fact, some of you in the last video were very quick to highlight the dark side video option. So here, my answer to all of that is this:
stop it. Get some help.
For me, the important thing is that the product delivers what it says it delivers. So if it says it's going to increase the power and I get in the car and I feel that power increase, that's good enough for me. For you it may not be, but for me that's good enough. And for me, out of all the products I've used in the past that's alleged to deliver performance, the RaceChip products have been great. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's take a look and see the product itself. So here's the two products that have been sent to us from RaceChip, and I love the presentation that RaceChip do for their products. They're not just like, you know, brown box product. They really go to town on it. Not that you buy it for the box, but it just says something about the quality. So we've got here our RaceChip. This is the GTS, top of the range one. So this, not only does it have multiple different mappings, it also has the app that allows us to control that mapping from the vehicle, which is great. Here we have the XLR. More on that in the next week or so when we see that installed. Let's concentrate for now on the RaceChip GTS. Okay, so as normal, we're going to show you what's in the box on the product. So opening up the product, we see that we have our GTS chip itself. We have our RaceChip connection cable, so that's all the actual connections that we have on this car. It's a simple free connection system. We have some tie clips to tie it down. Then we have the instructions, the comprehensive instructions, and these instructions are really great. You also have the app to download and the serial code, which I'm not going to show you, and that allows you to connect your app to your device. Now the instructions that RaceChip supply are second to none. They are really well written, very clear as well, and very comprehensive. So you have no doubt how to install this product correctly, and it even gives you all the timings that you need, you know, in terms of installing, and then a step-by-step installation. So it's very well written. So let's take these instructions. I should be able to do this by the back of my hand now. This will be the third time doing this. I should know this back to front. But we're going to follow the instructions, because following the instructions means we get it right. And let's go and install this in the car. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the wiring. So the wiring on the RaceChip is really simple to do. Basically, you have two connectors. One goes to what the manual calls the turbo boost pressure sensor. The actual Audi term is the charge pressure sensor. So connection A, this one here, goes to that. So basically, that plugs into the sensor, and then the wire that comes off the sensor, this plugs in, so it piggybacks. And then the next connection here, which is connection B, this goes to the manifold pressure sensor. This is the easy one to install. This is the tough one, because the boost pressure sensor, or the charge pressure sensor, is down at the bottom of the radiator, the intercooler, so it's right down there. So getting to it from the top is quite tight. Probably easier to get to it from the bottom, but doing it that way makes it quite difficult to see. Nevertheless, we'll get it done. So let's go get this into the car, and then we can then do the next stage. Okay, so welcome to a site you've not seen for a long time, the engine bay of our S3. This is the same engine that we had to replace, so we'll take this cover off, and then we can take a look at the two connection points. So the manifold point, that's this point here, which is really easy. Just unplug that and that's done. The other one is right down the bottom down there. You probably can't see it because it's well hidden, but it's right down the bottom down there. You can just see the wire. That's where we've got to go. So getting it through this way, very tight. So probably gonna have to do that from below. I may even have to jack the car up to get underneath it, but we'll give it an attempt and we'll see how we get on. So the recommended installation for the cabling loom for this car is right there. So we've got our GTS now, we're going to plug them in, and then we'll just tidy up some of the wiring. And that is it. The GTS is now installed. We're going to come back to that in a second, but first of all we need to run a few checks. We need to first of all see that the ignition works okay and all the lights go off as normal. That will show us that everything is connected up and that we haven't picked up any errors. So key the ignition. We're not going to start the car, we're just going to check to make sure that we've got no issues. And as we can see, everything goes off. We've got the EPC and the engine light, but they stay on until the car has started, but all our other lights have gone off. So at this stage it is safe to start the car, but before then we will just check the GTS RaceChip itself. Okay, so we've come to the GTS and we see that it's on. We've got sports mode. If it doesn't come on, just press this button here and that turns it on. But we can select, we can see it's got 7 modes here, and we can select those manually. Yes, we'll put mode 7 on because that's what do they call it in Mercedes? Party mode. Let's switch on party mode, but that seems to be working fine, which is great. Okay, let's start the car up, make sure she fires up okay. And all our lights have gone up the dashboard, So this RaceChip is ready to roll. All we've got to do now is install the app and then we're good to go. Okay, so we're going to go for a test drive now in the car. So we've got the RaceChip app. There's 3 modes on this app, but we can fine tune it. So down the bottom here we've got the fine tuning button, but we're going to go for race mode. Okay, so essentially what happens when you change it into different modes. So at the moment we're in eco mode, so we got blue. We can change it into sport mode, and that goes orange, and then race mode takes us into red. So those are the 3 modes. Actually, I just heard the engine note change, and that could just be the fact that the idle and the fast idling has kicked off. Right, okay, so let's stick it in race mode, and then we're going to go for a test drive down the dual carriageway and see if we can notice a difference. I think we will notice a difference, pretty obvious, but let's go and check. Okay, so we're on the dual carriageway. We're about to go on. We are in race mode. I'm putting the car in sports mode. Wow. You can feel it straight away, and it is a very strong pull. It's a very strong pull. Now, the section of road that I'm on now is a 50-mile-an-hour stretch, and I am at 48 miles an hour. So, but the acceleration is such that it is definitely much more stronger. You can feel it I was running the car previously in economy mode, but now the torque, if I give it some beans now, I can't give it too much because I've got to get to the next section, which is the national speed limit. And because we're coming up to a roundabout as well, we'll be able to really give it some beans. But yeah, it sounds great. The car, it's much better, very responsive. I mean, I'm doing about 2,500 RPM, and it's pulling. It pulled before, but now it's pulling really well. Now there are some ambulances and police cars. So someone's had a bit of an incident. Plus, I can hear it popping as well, which I didn't hear before. The car pops now, which is great. Yeah, a bit of an accident there. Here we go. Yes. Oh my goodness. This is the most powerful car that I've ever owned. Wow. That's my warning to tell me that I'm going over the speed limit, so I'm just slowing up a little bit. But my goodness, the torque is incredible. Wow, that is amazing. It really is. This is no exaggeration. I am so impressed with the way this RaceChip has improved. The torque, the mid-range just picks up. Before, this car was no slouch. Standard, this car has 310 brake horsepower, probably got a little less. But now, it is fantastic. It really pulls well. I'm going to go around the this roundabout so I can come off now. But, woo! Wow. I think I'm going to need to upgrade the brakes. Do you hear it? And it pops now. Right, okay, let's head on back. Okay, so I'm just back from my breathtaking test drive, and I can actually, on the map, if you see down the bottom here, you can see that I can fine tune. And when I go into fine tuning, what it allows me to do is to adjust the different rates of or different mappings. Now, when I was in race mode a second, that's a map 6. I still got one more to go, so I can go up to 7, which is even more power. So that's the maximum we can go. But you can see how you can fine adjust your settings to allow the car to experience different maps and different performance levels, including an eco one. I'll got it now back in eco, which is fantastic. So I should save some fuel, would you believe? But yeah, very pleased with that. Absolutely phenomenal. Just the power, the torque as well, and the pickup and acceleration. I came around the corner, I didn't have this on camera, and the car just launched, but it was so controllable as I passed another car, and it literally just shot past this car. I was really impressed. So that was a great run with the RaceChip, and it really did make a difference to the S3. Now, the GTS Black edition for the S3 gives it a reported additional 63 brake horsepower. In other words, it brings the car total power to 373 brake horsepower. Did it feel like it? Certainly did. And whether or not I've got the full 373 is irrelevant. For me, the main difference is feeling that additional power and also that additional torque, and that journey, that trip really did fulfill both of that. So I'm very pleased with the efforts that the modification has given me. And of course, one of the reasons why I like the RaceChip product is because you get the warranty, the 2-year warranty as well. So if you have any problems with your car, then you could claim on that, and that's something that not a lot of products do. So well worth it. And at the moment, RaceChip are giving a £100 discount up to the end of this month. So if you want to consider their products, then click on the link below, and then that will take you to their site where you can examine and see what is available for your vehicle. So that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to click down here and click on the notification bell so you're notified whenever we release a new video. Give us a thumbs up as well. We will see you midweek.